No one in history has done that. This commission and the fact that the to give me the
Is everybody's mic on? Okay, now your mic is on.
Your mic is on, so it will hear you.
It's on now. I call this meeting to order for Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Welcome, everybody, to the first commission meeting of the new year. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Susan Payne,
Here.
Commissioner Mark Tapley,
Here.
Commissioner Sharon McDonald,
Here.
Commissioner Josh Reardon,
Here.
Commissioner Stephen Burnett,
Here.
Commissioner Warren Robinson,
Here.
Commissioner Nick Paul,
Here.
City Manager Rick Holden, City Attorney Ashley Smith.
Here.
The clerk is present. Madam Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Rachel. We are going to start with our invocation given by Pastor Shelby Moon of Westminster Presbyterian Church and our pledge led by Commissioner Paul.
Good evening. Let us pray. Almighty God, as we look to this new year, we humbly acknowledge that your providence establishes all that we do. We come to you confessing our sins and seeking your forgiveness through your Son, Jesus Christ. We realize that in ourselves we are inadequate to carry out your will in our community. We humbly seek your provision for ourselves, our families, our churches, and our city. Grant us wisdom from your holy word, that we might govern this city according to its principles, in keeping with the great commandment to love you with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind, and with all our strength, and to love our neighbors as ourselves. Give us grace to love what you love, to hate what you hate, to believe what you say is true, to turn from the darkness and to walk in the light. Grant that we may not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. May all that we do be done in love, and may we seek to promote whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute. If there is any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, for the good of our city, for the good of our churches, for the good of our families, for the good of one another, and for the glory of Christ, in whose mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, yeah, I lost it again. Okay, let's try this. Okay, we are going to start tonight with our ceremonial administration of the oath of office, and I'm going to hand this over to City Clerk Rachel Hughes, who will give us more information on that.
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have to do the approval of the agenda first.
Of course we do. It says right there, approval of agenda. I lost my computer, I'm sorry. Okay, then we'll start with the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Burnett and a second from Commissioner Robinson. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, and motion passes 7-0. And now we will start with the ceremonial oath, and I'm going to hand that over to you.
Yes, Madam Mayor, so this is the ceremonial oath of office for the 4 that were elected for this year. So the judge will be doing the ceremonial.
going to call the commissioners who won elections last night one at a time, starting with Commissioner Paul. You want this part we have to do on the side.
I'll talk loud.
So, I state your name.
I, Nicholas Paul,
Having been elected to the office of District 1 City Commission
having been elected to the office of District 1 City Commission
for a term to expire on December 31st, 2027,
for a term to expire on December 31st, 2027,
in the city of Alamogordo, state of New Mexico,
in the city of Alamogordo, state of New Mexico,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Mexico,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Mexico,
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next up from District 3, Commissioner Warren Robinson. I state your name.
I, Warren Robinson,
Having been elected to the office of District 3 City Commissioner
have been elected to the office of District 3 City Commissioner
for a term to expire on December 31st, 2027,
for a time to expire on December 21st, 2020,
2027, in the city of Alamogordo, state of New Mexico,
in the city of Alamogordo in the state of New Mexico.
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Mexico,
the Constitution and the state laws in New Mexico,
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, Commissioner McDonald, District 5.
Hello,
I state your name.
I, Sharon McDonald,
Having been elected to the office of District 5 City Commissioner
having been elected to the office of City Commissioner for District Number 5
for a term to expire on December 31st, 2027,
for a term to expire on December 31st, 2027,
in the city of Alamogordo, state of New Mexico,
in the city of Alamogordo, state of New Mexico,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Mexico,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Mexico,
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office
and faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties of said office
discharge the duties of said office
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And District 6, Commissioner Tapley.
Yeah, it looks like we're having, like no bars. Yeah, I'll check.
That's okay, I'll just read this.
One hand up, raise your hand. I state your name.
I, Mark Tapley,
Having been elected to the office of District 6 City Commissioner,
having been elected to the
office
office
of District 6,
District 6 of the city of Alamogordo
for a term to expire on December 31st, 2027,
for a term to
expired
expire on December 31st, 2027,
in the city of Alamogordo, state of New Mexico,
in the city of Alamogordo, state of New Mexico,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Mexico,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Mexico,
and faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office, And faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
the duties
of said office
of said office
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Should have gave you that.
sorry. Okay. We're going to move on to item 2, and I'm going to hand that back over to you. And do you want to just,
Yes,
I need
Madam
to-
Mayor.
yeah, you want to just keep going? Okay.
Yes, so the reorganization of the commission takes place after every election. One of the items is to choose amongst you the mayor pro tem. So by doing so, you're going to nominate someone, and if the motion does not pass, then it dies, and then you will move on to the next nomination until you have selected your mayor pro tem.
Okay, do I have a motion or a nomination?
I'll make a motion to appoint Commissioner McDonald.
Okay,
Second.
who was that? Was that you?
I second it.
Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Burnett and a second from Commissioner Robinson. Do we do a roll call vote, or how do we do that?
You're just going to vote. You don't have to have a roll call.
Okay. You have a look on your face. Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. She had a look on her face, and I was trying to read the look, that's all. Okay. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Commissioner McDonald is our mayor pro tem. Congratulations.
Now we swap seats.
So Commissioner McDonald, if you can take your seat right next to the mayor, and take your nameplate with you also.
Just take the top badge. Just take your name, your nameplate only, yeah. There you go, okay. Did I do that right? I think I did that right? Yeah.
And I have the name tag.
Yeah, it's down here.
I was going to do that, but I couldn't reach it, sorry.
It doesn't quite fit.
Okay.
Okay, so the next item for the reorganization is to select the seating by seniority. That's with the mayor and the mayor pro tem seated in the middle. And so we have the seniority starting with Josh Ridden. If you'd like to choose where you want to sit,
Stay
right there. Okay. And then we have Commissioner Nick Paul.
I'll stay here.
Okay, we have Commissioner Stephen Burnett.
I'm good here.
And I was told that Commissioner Robinson and Commissioner Tapley did an arm wrestle for the seniority, and so which one won?
It was a tie, Rachel.
Okay.
Is everybody good where they're at?
We're happy.
Okay. All right, that was easy. And then, item 4.
Madam Mayor, the last item on the reorganization is the order of business of the agenda. So you have in front of you, I know that you're having some trouble with your internet. I don't know if you all have it up. So I will go ahead and read that to you. So we have call to order and roll call, invocation, and pledge of allegiance, approval of the agenda, presentations, public comment, city manager's report, remarks and inquiries by the City Commission, consent agenda, items removed from consent agenda, public hearings, new business, unfinished business, public comment if needed, and executive closed session and adjournment. So this is where you approve the order of business.
Okay. Anybody have any comments, questions? Everybody good? We'll keep it as is. And I have to do a motion for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the order of business? for
So
the
moved.
agenda? A motion from Commissioner Robinson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Reardon. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And motion passes 7-0. We're going to move on to presentations. Item 5, presentation of the Jill Robinson Award to the City of Alamogordo Code Enforcement Department and the Presidential Certificate of Recognition to Joshua Sides, Code Enforcement Manager, and City Manager Rick Holden has some information on that.
Yes, we'll get all the code enforcement officers up here. This is a great award that we want to share with everybody. Josh, I'm gonna let you hold all the goodies. There's some goodies there for everybody. To let you know, back in 2018, there was a lady named Jill Robinson. She was a code enforcement officer out in Utah, West Valley, Utah, by the way. And she was tragically murdered while she was out doing her job on an inspection. And so there's now been a Code Enforcement Officer Safety Foundation that was created, and each year they name a city who should be awarded this honor for the efforts that they put into code enforcement and for promoting safety through a lot of initiatives and training and equipment and such as this. So this award goes to the city of Alamogordo. Only one city in the United States gets this award. So this is a very big award. We want to congratulate the entire code enforcement group in doing so. And in addition, I also want to announce that Josh Sides has been awarded the Presidential Certificate of Recognition for his initiative and leadership to ensure that the team got that training. So if we could give them a big hand, I think that's much appreciated.
We're starting off the year well.
What's that?
We're starting the year off well.
Congratulations. Okay, we are going to move on to item 6. This is always one of my favorite things. I don't want to say one of, it's probably my favorite thing. And I'm going to pass this over to Chief Kunihiro, who has some information for us.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, and new Commissioners, and City Manager. I have a couple of presentations this evening. The first is going to be swearing in of 3 new police officers and 1 animal control officer. And then the second portion will be promotions within our department. So I'd like to call up first our non-certified police officers who will be swearing in. Ian Beatrice, Aaron Ramirez, and Sam Roybal. And then also if Animal Control Officer Frank Webb would also come forward, please. Come over here by the judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, so there's 2 different oaths, so we'll do the law enforcement officer oath first. You just stay there, look pretty. And then we'll do the animal one, and you guys look pretty. Okay?
Oath of Your Honor.
Okay. Let's raise your right hand for me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the State of New Mexico,
the Constitution and the laws of the State of New Mexico,
the ordinances of the City of Alamogordo,
the ordinances of the City of Alamogordo,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and according to the law,
and according to the law,
discharge the duties of the Alamogordo Police Department
discharge the duties of the Alamogordo Police Department
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations, gentlemen. And then we're gonna- I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the State of New Mexico,
the Constitution and the laws of the State of New Mexico,
the ordinances of the City of Alamogordo,
the ordinance of the City of Alamogordo,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully
impartially,
and impartially
and according to the law
and according to the law
discharge the duties of the Alamogordo Police Department,
discharge the duties of the Alamogordo Police Department,
Animal Control Division,
Animal Control Division,
to the best of my ability, so help me
to
God.
the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
I'll just, for the record, say we're moving on to item 7, and you can take it away. How's that?
All right, so we've got 4 people to promote this evening. So it's a pleasure and an honor to do it in front of City Commission. The department's in a very healthy place, and we're trending up, have lots of applications coming in, and we're hiring police officers. So thank you for what you guys do for us as well. The first I'll call up is Mauricio Puente. So just, why don't you just come over here? Officer Puente served in the United States Navy for 10 years. He separated from the military in order to pursue a career in law enforcement. He first worked with the Las Cruces Police Department from 2013 to 2014. He was hired with the Alamogordo Police Department in August of 2015. Since being a member of the police department, he's been a field training officer, a pepper ball instructor, standardized field sobriety test instructor, a SWAT operator, a task force officer with United States Marshal Service, a fugitive apprehension and surveillance team member. He was a former canine handler of ours. He was named the 2018 CYFD Officer of the Year, and he has been the Alamogordo Police Department Officer of the Year on 2 different occasions. Tonight, it's my honor and pleasure to promote him to the rank of sergeant. So Officer Puente, or Sergeant Puente, if you'd call up whoever is going to pin your badge and your collar brass.
Where do I?
Just right in front of everybody.
Come here, guys. Where's the?
Who's doing that? You?
Right here. And then you put this one. And you put this one. Then you go up like this. Right here. Go ahead.
I did it.
Technical difficulties. Oh.
Commission, City Manager, City of Alamogordo, I present to you Sergeant Mauricio Puente.
Congratulations.
The next person being promoted this evening is Christoph Wallenstein. Officer Wallenstein was born in Germany. He moved to the United States in 2005 with the German Air Force. He separated from the German Air Force in 2013 after serving 16 years. He graduated from the University of New Mexico, which I don't hold that against him, go Aggies, with his bachelor's degree in criminology and German. He moved back to Alamogordo in 2017 to join our team with the Alamogordo Police Department. He's currently a canine handler, and he's currently a firearms instructor. So, again, it's my honor and privilege this evening to promote Officer Wallenstein to Sergeant Wallenstein. If you'd have your family come up. Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Christoph Wallenstein. Next, Raymond Brown. Sergeant Raymond Brown, if you'd come forward. Sergeant Raymond Brown was born and raised in the Alamogordo area. He was hired with the Alamogordo Department of Public Safety in 2010. He left to the Otero County Sheriff's Office for a short time. Again, we don't hold that against him. And he came back to us in 2016. He's a field training officer. He's a SWAT team member, certified in meth lab interdiction and detection, less lethal use of force instructor, forensic interviewing techniques, Internet Crimes Against Children certified, advanced interviewing techniques. He is a former canine handler, a task force officer with United States Marshal Service, and he's a member of the 12th Judicial District Major Crime Unit. He was promoted to the rank of sergeant in 2021. So, my pleasure and honor to promote Raymond Brown to the rank of lieutenant within the police department. If you'd call your family forward, please.
It says reading the file. Something with the internet. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Brown. She left me hanging. All right, last but not least, Lieutenant Ryan Glidden. Lieutenant Ryan Glidden, born and raised in Alamogordo. He was hired with the Alamogordo Department of Public Safety in 2008. He's been a field training officer, a SWAT team member, a firearms instructor. He was promoted to the rank of sergeant in 2014. He worked as both a patrol sergeant and a detective sergeant. He was promoted to the rank of lieutenant in 2019. He worked as a patrol lieutenant, a lieutenant over investigations, evidence, community relations, and training. He's currently attending the Law Enforcement Executive Program. This is also known as a Police Staff and Command School. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to promote Lieutenant Glidden, who I've known a long time. He's done a really good job for the department, to the rank of Deputy Chief for the Alamogordo Police Department.
We practice this, right? Stab me. I can't see his hands hold up. All right.
Awesome.
Take a picture.
Deputy Chief Ryan Glidden.
Congratulations.
And for those family members and friends who are here, if you go next door to Municipal Court, we'll have a little reception for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, everybody. It's good to see this happening. I'm going to give them just a minute to clear out.
I'll be glad to share.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Glad to share.
Thank you. They're sharing computers. I don't know if you can share. Yours is
It doesn't matter, I've got,
yours is that's good.
Oh, here.
You guys is it?
I had to close mine out and open it, and we had this too, so
Okay.
almost had to text you to
So
come fix
they're gonna
his.
share theirs because like the internet's just down.
Yeah,
This
mine's,
has never even happened.
yeah, mine's down too, but mine's at least working somewhat. It said his file was damaged when we opened his back up.
Yeah, mine did too. I just had to click out of it.
Let's go back to the old way where we had a book.
So that, it's still down, right, the internet? Yeah, okay. Okay. I apologize, we're having technical difficulties. Gotta love technology. Last night it was the electricity, tonight it's the internet. I'm not gonna say anything past that, because Lord knows what'll happen, so, okay. All right, we are gonna move on to public comment. I do have 2 people signed up for public comment. Just as a reminder, you do get 3 minutes, and, yep, and there'll be a timer up there. So if you could limit those comments to 3 minutes, then I don't have to cut anybody off. So we're going to start with Carol Hernandez.
Here?
Yes, ma'am. How are you today?
Well, I'm ailing, but I'm here.
You know what? You're here, that's right. And it's cold and you're here, so
No
I've got to
problem.
admire that. Okay, you do get 3 minutes if you'll state your name for the record.
Carol Hernandez.
Okay?
When I first came to the area a couple of years ago, I said, now what? And then when I became a citizen of Alamogordo over a year ago, I came to realize that there are many wonderful people here, caring and accepting, and your voters, by the way. I come to talk about the pigeons who have been denied the opportunity to present today on this agenda, but nevertheless, I do not consider it a flighty matter. I care about the pigeons. I care about all life. And I have a couple of suggestions for you to consider. One is the overpopulation. There is a food that can be purchased, it's expensive, that is a pigeon contraceptive and will reduce the pigeon population, though not immediately, but that will help. There are also measures that Friends take now to discourage the pigeons from splatting on people's cars, on the ground, or on their persons. And I have certainly been subject to that. And I want to suggest these as possibilities for you to consider in future to help with this problem, rather than denying people to feed the pigeons, which is, after all, a way to honor all life. And I don't have more to say on the subject. Excuse me.
Thank you. Okay, and next we have John Davis.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is John Davis, and all of you got an email from me. I don't know if you've read it or not. And you may can tell from my T-shirt, I just like pigeons, okay? Anyway, I'm here today to ask you to consider either repealing in its entirety or amending City Ordinance 07-05-30, which prohibits the feeding of feral pigeons. I would like you to amend that to allow for a religious exemption. I'm called by my religion to care for the earth and all living creatures. And as it currently stands, I heard an awful lot of oaths taken today to uphold the U.S. Constitution. The First Amendment of that Constitution guarantees me the right to freely practice my religion This ordinance circumvents that. I believe it's currently unconstitutional. Ashley Smith, our city attorney, stated that one of the city's concerns is that pigeons carry diseases. Indeed, they do, as do all living things. COVID didn't prevent churches from practicing their religion. It still doesn't. The risk of infection of small male infants doesn't prevent the religious practice of circumcision, and there's a risk of post-op infection there. There has never been a documented or reported case in the state of New Mexico of the 3 diseases that Ms. Smith listed: cryptococcosis, histoplasmosis, or psittacosis in New Mexico. The statute as written lists feral pigeons as a nuisance. Is this a sufficient reason to deny me my religious freedom? Panhandlers can be a nuisance. Protesters, if you don't like the cause, can be a nuisance. They have their First Amendment rights, as do I. So I have asked and been denied to be placed on tonight's agenda. So I'd like to apply to be on the agenda for the meeting on the 23rd, and I asked Mr. Rardon as my city commissioner to second my request and get me put on. The reason I'd like to do that is I'd like it to be an action item so that I don't get ignored. I'd also like to address any questions or concerns you might have regarding the feeding of feral pigeons. I walked here tonight in sub-freezing weather. I'll get a ride back with my friends, but I have no intention of going away. This issue's too important to me. So thank you so much for what you do. Congratulations to all the new sworn-in officers. I wish you all peace, love, light, and blessings.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going old school here. Sorry, people. We are going to move on to the city manager's report.
Good evening. What a great night in Alamogordo. This has been a tremendous night, a lot of changes going on, and we're getting to see a lot of people in new positions. I do want to offer one comment. I did spend some time with Mr. Davis. He came in and spent some time with Stephanie and I, and he's very passionate about the pigeon issue. So I did want you to know that we have visited with him, and we did ask him to come tonight to speak during the citizens portion, and then we'll take it from there if the commission chooses to go otherwise. But we did, I told you I would do that, and we did.
Yes, and I apologize again for hanging up on you because I got you a tall microphone.
Technology, all right. I've been pretty busy, as you can imagine, and I'm just going to hit a couple of the major things going on so that you're aware. Our Public Works Director, Nancy Bescheller, has resigned effective the 15th of this month. Dave Nunley is in the acting Public Works Director's position, and I will tell you that street repairs is one of his primary objectives at this point. We're taking very seriously the calls and the concerns that the commission has voiced to us about streets. In fact, I think some of the streets that you talked about last month have indeed been fixed already. We're way, way, way behind. I can't begin to give you all of the explanations or reasons why, but we are taking that as a very personal affront, and we will move directly to try to get some things done there. I'd like to let you know that we have a new airport manager, Mr. Troy Orr. He started last week. He's already moving very quickly at the airport and doing a lot of work out there. Along that airport line, I want to let you know that most of you are probably aware we have an F4 project that's been in the mill for about 6 years that should have been done about 5.5 years ago. It's taken a long time to get it done, but we have met in my office, and there has been a committee assigned that is going to take that F4 project. They're going to put together a complete program that they're going to then recommend to the commission for you to formally adopt or not adopt at the appropriate time. That committee is formed, includes Manny Gonzalez, Danielle Rodelay, Vince Miller, Lance Grace, Baxter Patillo, Jarrett Perry at the chamber, as well as Stephanie representing our city. So this is a very diverse group of people that will put together a plan on where will that F4 likely be put, How much is it going to cost to move it from point A to point B? What's going to be the motif or the vision behind where it's going to be? And who's going to maintain and pay for that jet in the future? That jet does belong to the city of Alamogordo through a donation. And so I am also aware that the state is coming down, I think next week, to actually conduct an inspection because somebody called in a complaint. Imagine that, that something hadn't been done with that particular aircraft in a timely manner. So this team will get together, put together a program that they can then recommend. You will have the formal and final responsibilities to see if that's what you want to do with that aircraft. This last week, I've spent a lot of time with our legislators. I visited with Senators Burt and Griggs as well as our Representative Block. We've talked a lot about Alamogordo. We're very privileged to have that level of leadership from the State House here in Alamogordo. So they have our list of projects. They will be going to resume session next week for the 30-day session, which will deal a lot with capital funding. And so I anticipate and hope very much that the senators, as well as our state representative, will be able to notify us soon of some awards on some of the projects that have been put in there. Nothing but good news from those people. They're highly supportive of our community. They have our contact information. I'm certainly able to contact them at will as we need to during the session. If bills come up or something we need some help with, we have direct access to the legislative group. So looking forward to that. Also this week I met with Attorney John Wheeler representing the Sacramento Mountains Foundation. He has some opportunities to spend some of the money. They have approximately $250 million in that fund. And there are a couple of things that he's very interested in pursuing. We're going to be running those through the staff to do all of the due diligence that we need to on that end of it. And those projects, if deemed advisable, we certainly will bring those to you also for your consideration and or approval at the appropriate time. I think that's a wonderful opportunity for us to have some money that we might not otherwise be able to get and to use it for some very much needed improvements in quality of life issues particularly. So I'll share those with you as we get more information from John and learn a little bit more about what they're willing to do. Let you know that the 2024 budget process is well underway. Evelyn and the entire staff are in the process now of inputting budget numbers into the Tyler system. We'll begin be a few weeks, but we're going to be starting to go through these one-on-one with our departments and directors line by line. You then will obviously be involved in that process as we get a little bit further into it for budget hearings and workshops where your input will certainly be appreciated. But just to let you know that we're well underway in that process. There's been some significant work done recently, and I've mentioned to a couple of you that have come by the office to see me. We're looking very closely at our water and sewer rates. I understand it's been a long time since those water and sewer rates have been looked at, and it's very important to the community, not just for today, but for the future, to assure and ensure that your children, grandchildren have the ability to turn the tap on and have water 8, 9, 10 years from now. So we're looking at a rate structure that will be much easier to understand than what you've seen thus far. We're looking at simplifying the rate structure, the rate design, so that people will understand when they get their bill what it means. And we're going to present to you something that's not going to have all of these multi-tiers of usage where you have no clue where you fit into one of those tiers. The simple fact is water cost, if you'll use, for an example, a gallon of water, it costs a certain amount of money for the city to produce that water. It doesn't matter whether you use 1 gallon or 500,000 gallons, that water costs the same. And it also doesn't matter where you live, how old you are, that cost is still the same. So we cannot discriminate in our rate package. So we have to put together something that can be very formidable, that will allow us the opportunity to maintain the existing system plus grow for the future and to take care of debt service. This is a major project that you're going to see within the next few months as we go through the budget process. But we are actively trying to look at some of the things that are going on here that we know are issues that are going to have a lot of discussion. But again, we're trying to keep it simple and stupid and put together something that I think everybody will actually like the format, like the structure that we're going to put together. So please bear with us as we continue to work on that. Lastly, tomorrow I will be a guest of Commissioner McDonald at Rotary Club, and I will do the speech. Whether or not they let me out of there and let me come back to the city or not, I don't know. They may tell me to turn around and go back to Texas. But if they don't, I'll be back next month with another report for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to remarks and inquiries by the City Commission. Does anybody have anything?
Just got a
Commissioner
couple real
Reardon.
quick to have Rick add to our list for Public Works. Down on White Sands Boulevard, kind of by the blind school, there's a storm drain, and looks like we've got a pretty good depression forming in the road.
Is it on White Sands
It's on
Boulevard?
White Sands, so it may be the DOT, but
It will be, but
it
we
may be our
will,
pipeline, though.
we will be sure that they have that. We've made contact with them, and so we've got a direct line there, too.
It's down there kind of between, I don't know what that road is, but it's between Indian Wells and, what's that road?
Catalina.
And Catalina.
Okay.
Right in there, there's one that you can see it's got a depression forming.
We'll look at that also.
And then on Florida, between 12th and 13th, we have.
I have that one.
That one?
Stephen,
Okay.
is that the one you mentioned to me the other day?
It's where we've cut a hole and done a repair.
no.
but it
No,
needs-
okay, is that
it
up
just needs
by
more
the
base
stores?
course. It's right by the old mid-high school.
Okay.
It's
okay.
between, closer to 12th Street than it is to 13th.
Okay, we'll get Dave to get a look at those, and I hope you have seen that we have made some progress, more so than have been made in a long while, from what I can gather. So again, we appreciate your patience and understanding as we work towards trying to get that situation with these streets in something that everybody can live with. I recognize it, and I do appreciate you taking time to share those with us. Thank you.
I just have one.
Commissioner Burnett.
Where are we on striping? Do we know?
I'll be honest, we have not, nobody has given me a briefing on the striping yet, and frankly, I think we've moved some people from striping to try to help with some of the street mechanism issue that we've got going on.
'Cause
If you have something specific, I'll be happy to look at that too.
On Florida, from Indian Wells to 16th, there's essentially no lines whatsoever. Sometimes there's two cars side by side driving down the same road.
Has it been like that forever, or is this a
It's been a while.
new project?
It's been like that for quite some time.
Okay. So I assume y'all are getting a good list of those for me, so that I can get with Dave. We'll go back through the minutes, and I'll be sure that we add that to the list, Stephen, absolutely.
While we're talking road striping, and it's nothing pressing, but whenever we get it rolling, Lavelle Road from First Street to the old cookie factory, early in the mornings when it's dark, there's no lines on that road. It's very difficult when you're on that road.
Are there,
bits and
is there
pieces.
electricity out there? Are there poles out there with overhead lines?
Is there? I think there is right by the convenience center. There's some poles and lights, but
We can look and see what the street light situation
yeah,
might be.
There's no way to add lights out. I mean, I don't think there's any infrastructure for that. But
Okay.
if we can put a stripe right down the middle, that would help, or a stripe along the edges. And it's mainly in the winter months when it's dark.
Sure.
Early in the morning and late, early in the evenings, so,
I will add those to the list.
okay, thank you.
Stephanie, you missed the big list. We have a list. Trust me. We'll get those. Thank y'all for bringing them up.
Does anybody else have anything?
I have a brief comment.
Commissioner Tapley and I went to Santa Fe today, and we'll go back tomorrow for training. And I was very impressed with municipal employees around the state of New Mexico. It is so important for you to be involved in your government. And we were proud to be there because Alamogordo looked good with what we've done and the improvements that we're making. You got some superstars down here. You have people who care about this city and want it to do better. You not only have national awards, you have more officers coming. So we were very proud to represent Alamogordo in that training, and we're going back tomorrow. But you have a wonderful city. Help to keep it that way. Before you fuss and before you fight, come and try to help the city. You got a great city manager now. We have a possibility of being a superstar in this state by the employees and some of the citizens here. I want you to know you're in a lucky place. So come and help the city be even better than it has been before. Is that all right? Is that okay? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and on that note, congratulations again to our police department. I am super thrilled with what we're seeing. It clearly, it's been a long time coming, and it appears that the pretty drastic measures that we took are working. And so I'm super excited about that. I think, Cooney, you're doing a fabulous job. And congratulations to all of you. Last year was a really rough year. And you were thrown into, I just can't even believe it. I'm like, how long you been on the job? 2 weeks or something? And, but you've done an amazing job. And so I think it's important that we recognize that. One of the reasons that I ran all those years ago was because it took 45 minutes for a police officer to show up when it should have taken 10. And there wasn't any excuse for it other than we just had real issues. So it's nice to see things turn around. I know that y'all have been busy, and so I just wanted you to know that I appreciate everything that you've done, and I appreciate all our officers. Congratulations to our code enforcement. That is exciting when we talk about Alamogordo, and we can get that nationwide recognition. That's a pretty big deal for us. I used to joke that Alamogordo has to be known for good things instead of bad things. And
Right.
I don't want to be known for pot on every corner. I don't want to be known for homicides or drugs. I want to be known for the good things, because we do. We have a lot of great things in our community. And I will agree with you on that. My daughter is FaceTiming me because she doesn't know I'm in a meeting. I'm sorry. I will agree with you on that the arguing needs to stop. Some of the nonsense out there is just, it's beyond ridiculous. So anyway, I'm looking forward to 2024. I do want to tell you that at our next meeting, I will do, as I'm required to do, a State of the City address. So look for that. I promise that I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, but we did do a lot last year, and I think we need to talk about those things. And congratulations, Commissioner McDonald, Mayor Pro Tem McDonald. I'm looking forward to working with you. And that'll be an exciting time for us. And I am going up for Otero County Days. I've got my days mixed up. I think it's not this weekend, it's the following weekend.
Yes, 18th and 19th.
Right? The 18th and 19th, yep, I'll be going up for that. And Lori Black and some other members of the chamber put that together, and that's going to be a good thing. Also getting some statewide recognition. One of the things that Senator Burt communicated to me was that we need to have more of a presence in Santa Fe. And of course, that's sometimes difficult, but it's certainly worth it. And I did spend some time up there last year, and I'm planning on doing that again. This is a short session, obviously, so whatever we can do to get it out. Alamogordo is a great community, and people need to understand that just like any community, we have our problems. But I got to tell you, when I travel to some larger communities that I will not mention, I cannot wait to get back to Alamogordo. You know, they may be bigger and they may have more stuff, but boy, do they have more stuff to go with that stuff, and I'm not interested. So anyway, and then finally, I want to mention that I have received a lot of very positive comments about our new city manager, so thank you for that. Boy, I was talking to somebody the other day, one of our community members, and her mother goes to the senior center, and she came home and she told her, the city manager came and had lunch with us at the senior center, and so she told me that, and I said, that's what I'm talking about right there, so.
You can tell her I'm old enough to go there too.
You know, well, I think it was a great thing that you did that. It sure made their day, and I appreciate that, and appreciate all the compliments. You are definitely doing some great things, so thank you for that. And with that, I have nothing else. Anybody else? No? Okay, so we're going to move on. I'm going to find myself here. I still do not have a computer. We're moving on to item 15. No, I'm sorry, item 8. I apologize. We're moving on to item 8. No, I'm sorry. We're moving on to the consent. Boy, I am lost. I'm so sorry. We're moving on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything that they want to pull off of the consent agenda?
Did we get that figured out?
No? Okay. I apologize. I'm really not usually this discombobulated, but I have no computers. It's terrible. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion from Commissioner Paul. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Mayor Pro Tem McDonald. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Warren Robinson,
Aye.
Mark Tapley,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We had nothing removed from the consent agenda. We're going to move on to new business now. Item 15, consider and act upon resolution 2024-04 declaring 311 Virginia Avenue to be so ruined, damaged, and dilapidated that it's a menace to the public comfort, health, peace, or safety, and ordering its abatement. And Code Enforcement Manager Josh Sides. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, City Manager Holden. My name is Josh Sides. I am the Code Enforcement Manager for the City of Alamogordo, as well as the code official as far as International Property Maintenance Code is concerned for the City of Alamogordo. I bring forth in front of you a resolution to declare 311 Virginia to be so dilapidated and order its condemnation and its abatement. 311 Virginia Avenue is located in between 3rd and 4th Street on Virginia Avenue. It is on your pictures. It is where the red star is, north pointing up of the page. The picture on the left-hand side is that of the residents from the street. Laws and codes, we've been through these a few times over the last few months, but I'll go over them again for the newer commissioners. State statute says that the property owner has 10 days to commence demolition or file a written objection to appear before the governing body of the municipality should it be condemned, should everybody vote to condemn the property. That's what state statute says. City ordinance is virtually the same. Only difference is it says city commission instead of the local governing body. And International Property Maintenance Code, the owner may board up the structure for future repair or demolition for 1 year. So if it is condemned, they have 1 year to make those repairs or demolish. If it is not boarded up, they have 2 years to make those repairs or demolish. So there's 2 different timelines. They have 10 days per the resolution to commence, and then after that, they have either 1 or 2 years. The timeline on 311 Virginia, on June 28, 2023, Code Enforcement was made aware of a potentially dilapidated structure and conducted the investigation. On July 27th, a certified property maintenance code violation letter was mailed to the listed property owner, certified, listing out the violations, how to correct them, and my contact information. On August 23rd, the letter was returned unclaimed, and subsequently, per International Property Maintenance Code, it was posted to the front door of the property. On August 28th, 12th Judicial District Court Judge Ellen Jessen granted an administrative search warrant, and on September 11th, I executed that search warrant on the property. International Property Maintenance Code violations, you had some exterior structural needs to be in good repair, structurally sound and sanitary protective treatment, which is your painting or a clear coating, some sort of protective treatment on the exterior walls and surfaces. Exterior walls shall be free from breaks, holes, and loose and rotting materials. Roofs and drainage shall be sound, tight, and not have defects that emit rain. And window, skylights, and door frames shall be kept in sound condition, good repair, and weather tight. These are pictures now of the property. These are pictures I took doing my initial investigation when I was made aware that it is a potentially dilapidated structure. As you can see on the right-hand picture, the roof is in disrepair. It's in bad shape overall of this structure. And then the far window is also in a state of disrepair. These are pictures, when we executed the search warrant, these are pictures of the interior of the residence. Most of the ceiling has collapsed due to the roofing itself failing and allowing rainwater to come in. There is even one of the trusses on the roof there is collapsed. I think it's on the far right-hand side of that right-hand picture is the one that was collapsed. These are more pictures of the interior of the structure. A lot of this damage that we're seeing on the inside of this structure is because of rainwater and elements being admitted through that roof that has failed over time due to neglect and damage from just the elements. Roofs go bad over years. You can see in the left-hand picture that ceiling is collapsed more. Right-hand, that's part of the flooring that is just water beat. It's wood flooring that's just water beat. Again, more of that ceiling that's deteriorating, falling, collapsing in on itself in this residence. More pictures. This is the picture on the right-hand side is of the kitchen, where you can see daylight just coming straight through because that roof has failed. Left-hand side is you're standing back of that kitchen, but it's the same going into the kitchen. There's more windows. This is actually RV parked on the property where it's got a lot of the same issues. It's weather and elements are being allowed to get in that, which is deteriorating it. I do know that Mr. Avery, who is the property owner, I believe he's here tonight. We have been in communication. He has hired a contractor to redo the roof. He knows that this is our process and our step because he contacted me well after I've already had this on the agenda. I've walked him through the steps of, yes, because if commission decides to condemn it, doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We're not going to go out tomorrow and demolish it. It just holds you to a timeline. But he's well working. We're working together. So this is still in front of you, and I do request that you approve the resolution to condemn. And I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve item 15?
So moved.
A motion from Commissioner Paul. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Mayor Pro Tem McDonald. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Warren Robinson,
Aye.
Mark Tapley,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Roden,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Okay, we're going to move on to item 16. Consider and act upon Resolution 2024-05 declaring 800 Virginia Avenue to be so ruined, damaged, and dilapidated that it's a menace to the public comfort, health, peace, and safety, and ordering its abatement. And
Customer service, sorry.
that's okay. You're up.
Okay, again, I bring forth you a resolution to declare 800 Virginia dilapidated and order its condemnation and its abatement. This one may look a little familiar from last month of the slideshow. I told you to be seeing it this month. 800 Virginia is at the corner of 8th and Virginia. It is where the star is north of that, north on that map is pointed up. The picture on the left-hand side is the picture from the corner of the street of 800 Virginia. Laws and codes, we went over those in the last presentation, so I'm just going to kind of skip over those. The timeline for Virginia on June 28th, code enforcement is aware of a potentially dilapidated structure. On the 27th of July, certified International Property Maintenance Code violation letter was sent to the property owner as per the Otero County Assessor's Office with listing out the violations, how to correct them, or my contact information. On the 23rd of August, the letter was returned unclaimed and subsequently posted on the front door of the property. On August 28th, I applied for and was granted from the 12th Judicial District Court Judge Jessen an administrative search warrant, and on August 30th, I executed that search warrant on the property. Some of the violations on this property are much similar to those of the other address on Virginia. Exterior structures shall be maintained in good repair, structurally sound and sanitary. Protective treatment exterior surfaces shall be maintained in good condition with paint or protective sealant applied. Exterior walls shall be free from holes, breaks, and loose or rotting materials. Roofs and drainage shall be sound tight and not have any defects and emit rain. And window skylights and door frames shall be kept in sound condition, good repair, and weather tight. Conditions of this property are, these are search warrant pictures. When we execute the search warrant, we need a search warrant to go on the property, else we can't go on the property without consent. So these are conditions of the property. Left hand is the front door of that property. Code states you have to have something. You can't have a 30-inch drop off your door or any type of balcony or step or anything without something there. Left-hand side is a picture of the interior. Right through that front door, that is the room you walk into. It's got no walls other than studs and some insulation. That is the window. The front door is there on the right-hand side of that window where the sheet metal is that once blocked that window that has fallen now. The right-hand picture is a picture of the roof. Again, we see a lot of problems with roofs. Roofs that have failed and allowing elements inside the properties which cause a lot of damage, which can cause thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage. We're seeing a lot with roofs. So that is water damage from elements getting in because the roof has failed. This is another bedroom with the picture on the left-hand side. This is actually probably the best bedroom in the residence. It doesn't have too many issues other than the flooring because the elements, it's got a lot of water damage to that wood flooring and then the graffiti inside, and it does have a window that's missing just to the left off camera. The right-hand side is actually the roofing of a room in that property where you can see that there is no real roofing. You can see daylight through, and that is actually that door actually opens up to another room that doesn't have a floor, it's just dirt. Excuse me. This picture shows where there potentially was some fire damage within this structure. I was unable to confirm whether there was a fire in it or not by the time of this meeting. More of the ceiling damage there on the right-hand side, right-hand picture. The left-hand picture is the roof that I once spoke about where we were in that room. You can see daylight. That's what the roof looks like. There is nothing to prevent any type of elements getting inside that structure. Right-hand side is just more of the flooring of that room where that roof is covering, and it's pretty gone. Another picture of windows where there are no windows. They've attempted to cover them years ago, but the coverings have failed. And then another picture of that roofing that's missing. And I will stand for any questions.
What year was the house built in?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Have you? Oh, Lord, I can't go back and look. Did you get in contact with the owner?
No, never would.
Okay.
I tried doing several, mailed the International Property Maintenance Code letter, mailed a copy of the search warrant once it's filed, and they all come back. I'd even send an officer to the address because there's an address in town and can't make contact with the property owner.
All right. Does anybody have any more questions? Would anybody like to make a motion on item 16?
So move.
Is that your motion to approve it?
Yes.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Robinson to approve item 16. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Mayor Pro Tem McDonald. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Warren Robinson,
Aye.
Mark Tapley,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Rudin,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We're going to move on to item 17, consider and act upon Resolution 2024-06 declaring 1110 Uranus Drive to be so ruined, damaged, and dilapidated that it's a menace to the public comfort, health, peace, and safety, and ordering its abatement.
Good evening again. In the interest of cross-training, so everybody in code enforcement knows what everybody does, and that way, in case tomorrow I get hit by a bus, we keep on trucking along as far as the department goes for the better of the community. This is April Payan. She is a code enforcement officer for code enforcement for the city of Alamogordo. She handles the southeast district, so 10th and Washington, southeast, that's all her. She also takes care of the Indian streets and all the McKinley, Bellama, Hendricks, those streets as well. So I'm going to let her take this, and I'm going to stand here for moral support for her.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, so 1110 Uranus Drive. Let's see. On the left, you'll see a front view of the residence, okay? And on the right, you'll see that it is the Red Star just west of Uranus Place. And the laws and codes, I know Officer Sides or Manager Sides went over with you all. Let's see, the next one. Timeline for 1110 Uranus Drive. On November 9th, 2023, Code Enforcement Department was made aware of a potentially dilapidated structure and conducted an investigation just after a fire was extinguished within the residence. On November 28th of 2023, certified International Property Maintenance Code letter was sent to the owner listing violations of the International Property Maintenance Code and how to correct them, as well as contact information for code enforcement. On December 21st of 2023, the certified letter was returned unclaimed and was posted on the property. Okay, code violations. There are a total of 96 violations of International Property Maintenance Code and International Residential Code. 61 violations of the IPMC code, and 35 violations of the International Residential Code. All right, so the condition of the property that night. The picture on the left is of the backyard, correct? Okay. The front yard? Okay, the front yard, and that is not a dead body on the ground. It was during, after Halloween, so that was just a Halloween decoration that's there.
But it looks like a dead body.
Yes, but it's not. And then on the right, it's a little bit dark, but there's another picture of from a different angle of the same area. Okay, on the left, you can see the fire damage. We've got the refrigerator on one side, and you can see how badly burnt it was, and a lot of the smoke damage on the ceiling. And then on the opposite side of the same room, you can see the couch that burned and melted, and possibly 2 different ignition points in this residence. You can see the fan that's melted there at the top, and the smoke damage on the ceiling. Okay, there's another shot. That was a refrigerator, and you've got the ceiling where the roof has come down from the fire. There used to be a pile of trash that's on next to the refrigerator, and that pretty much burnt up. On the right side, you've got a view of the hallway, and you can see all the smoke damage there that went throughout the home. Okay, on the left, we have a bedroom where the door was closed, and obviously the fire didn't make it into that room, but we were only able to get the door open a little bit less than a foot. There was that much trash, furniture, and all kinds of other things in there. It was difficult to get into. On the right side, you'll see the light fixture that was hanging, and we can tell that I think it's smoke damage or thermal layering from the smoke is above it. So the fixture apparently was already hanging below that before the smoke and fire happened. To the left, you'll see the kitchen. It's pretty well damaged, and apparently the occupants had a mattress in there, and which violates code. You can't have anybody sleeping in a kitchen. But it's pretty well damaged there. On the right, you'll also see another angle of the refrigerator that's completely destroyed, and the ceiling coming down from the fire. On the left, you'll see a lot of containers, furniture. It was very cluttered in the backyard, correct? And much of the property was that way. On the right is another angle where you can see the amount of trash and debris that was located on the property. Okay, and I'll stand for any questions.
I'm guessing nobody lives there.
Actually, there was 4 occupants at the time. This property, the property owner is deceased. There is a personal representative that lives in North Carolina that also got mailed that letter, and nothing was returned, nothing. So the letter that I sent to the property owner, to that actual residence was returned, and it was posted on the front door.
So there was somebody living there after the fire?
4 people. There's actually somebody living in the shed, we've been told after the fire, there's people back living in that residence, and there's been nothing done. Because that night when I was out there, I was able to make contact with next door neighbors and give my business card and say, hey, let me know if anybody comes back so I can talk to them, and try to give them that letter. Because there is a descendant of the property owner that does live there that I haven't been able to contact. But they were renting out the shed, rooms, things like that. So there
Oh,
is
my
a
goodness.
suspected arson in this residence due to the 2 ignition points, one being the couch, one being that pile of trash by the refrigerator.
Oh, so they think it was arson?
Suspected.
Deliberate arson?
They're unsure. So I've already, before bringing this to you, I've already talked with fire about that, and I got the green light to bring it before you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Do we know if there's a mortgage company involved or insurance company involved, or
There is no homeowner's insurance,
there's no homeowners?
and the house is not under mortgage, that I do know.
You know, it just blows me away, the people that don't have homeowners insurance. We had a fire the other day on Incredible Court, no homeowners insurance.
That's next meeting.
Yeah, I felt for this woman, but I don't understand it.
Fire mainly contained to just surface damage. I mean, the pictures, I can't tell if there's any structural damage, but
The fire was mainly in the living room, kitchen, and there was some fire damage, actual flame damage beyond charring in a bedroom, a converted garage just to the right. Rachel, if you can put back up that slideshow.
our computers are messing up, I can't.
We don't have it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry, yeah,
No,
I
you're
can't see it.
I can kind of see it, but.
So that white door on the left-hand picture is actually to a converted garage. It's now a bedroom, and fire did get in there because that door was open during the time of the fire. And there was some fire damage in there, but the overall water damage, because they had to fight it in the attic as well, completely has destroyed that ceiling throughout the house. Which means they have to get new electrical and everything.
And you sent a letter to the personal representative, and no response.
This one's conceivably fixable.
Conceivably. If the
If we could
personal
find an
representative or the next of kin, for lack of better terms, who actually lived there would make the effort in contacting and trying to get this up to code again. But with no property, homeowners insurance, it's going to be a rough one.
Okay. Any more questions?
I'll make a motion to approve item 17.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Burnett to approve item 17. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner Robinson. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Warren Robinson,
Aye.
Mark Tapley,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We're going to move on to thank you both. We're going to move on to item 18, consider and act upon case SP 2023-0008. Property owner Stephen Valdez is requesting to be granted a special permit to allow his son to continue residing within an RV on his property on Post Avenue. And Stella Rael, it's been a minute. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, good.
And I hope I don't start coughing. This cold is really affecting my asthma. So, yes, ma'am. So here I am in front of you. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, City Manager Holden. Was special permit case 2023-0008A. This was a situation where Code Enforcement Officer Otero was patrolling his area and came across an RV within a zoning district that does not allow habitation in RVs. So he left his card, asked the property owners to contact my department. I did speak with the property owner, Mr. Valdez. Excuse me. And we talked about his options. So the property owner is requesting a special permit to allow his son to continue living within the recreational vehicle on the property located at 795 Post. The RV is actually 32 by 12 foot with slide closed and 32 by 16 foot with the slide open. Just to go over the area with you. Here we are at the corner of Travis and Post. The property there with the red dot on it is where the RV is placed. The property owners live right next door at 785, here in this picture to the right. It is within an MH1 manufactured housing subdivision. That's just an aerial of the surrounding zoning to show you what all is out there. There's a lot of mixture in that area. This here is the protest area. We are obligated to notify surrounding property owners within 200 feet. So we did send out letters within that protest area. There was a total of 17 letters mailed to all property owners of record within 200 feet from the property, excluding public right-of-way. These letters go out just first-class mail. As of today, there have been 0 letters returned undeliverable, and I have received 3 phone calls from surrounding property owners stating that they are in favor of Mr. Valdez being allowed to continue living in the recreation vehicle. All property owners state that Mr. Valdez keeps a lot clearer debris and is a very pleasant neighbor. Like I said, no letters or phone calls of opposition have been received. Just want to go over the ordinance. I know I supplied you all with it, and with the issues you're having with your computers, I'm not sure if you can see it. But per ordinance 25-01-020, location permits and exceptions. A, it is unlawful for any person to use within the city of Alamogordo any mobile housing unit or recreational vehicle for habitation or commercial purposes unless it is located in an area where the city zoning ordinance specifically permits its location or except as otherwise provided in this section. B, the city commission may authorize temporary permits for mobile housing units in other zoning districts where the following conditions are met. 1, notice of time, place, and purpose of the hearing on the issuance of the permit has been published at least 15 days before the meeting in a newspaper of general circulation sent by first-class mail to all property owners of record within 200 feet, excluding all public right-of-way of the property for which the permit is sought. And we did also, I failed to mention that we did publish it in the Alamogordo Daily Paper within those 15 days. 2, the applicant must show some hardship which is not self-inflicted, but which arises from the character of the property for which the permit is sought, character of surrounding properties, or extreme and unusual personal circumstances. And 3, the temporary placement of a mobile housing unit is not detrimental to the surrounding properties. Per application, the property owner listed here as reason for request. Request for a special permit is to allow his son to continue living in the RV. He has been there for about 2 years already. And then reason for request is the property owner, which is the father of the gentleman that lives in the RV, states that his son is only able to afford RV on property and is saving money per down payment on mobile home. Like I said, Mr. Valdez has been there for 2 years, has been paying city water and sewer garbage for the past 2 years. Staff is recommending denial per ordinance. I don't feel that a hardship is defined. Like I said, they're stating that he can't afford to live anywhere else while he saves money. So at this time, I am open for questions.
So his plan is to purchase a mobile home?
Yes,
Put
sir.
on that property?
Yes, sir, to be placed on that property.
So there's enough property there to put another mobile
Oh,
home
yeah,
on?
yeah. Those
So-
are two separate properties.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, I don't have anything in front of me.
I know, it's hard.
But, so if he were to put a mobile home on that property, it would be okay, but it's not okay to put
An RV.
an RV?
So RVs are only allowed within our manufactured housing park zoning areas. This is manufactured housing subdivision that allows manufactured homes but not RVs. The property there outlined in black is the property in question. The property to the right is 785, and that's where Mr. Valdez's parents live. So they're two separate properties.
So he's not, I guess when I first read this, I was thinking like he lived like, they parked it on their, how sometimes they'll park it on their lawn or something like that. That's not how this is set
No,
up.
ma'am, this is a vacant property. I know I couldn't expand the photos enough without really messing them up, but the property here on the right is that corner property where the RV is located.
Is it clean? Is it?
It is clean and.
Is it hooked
Officer-
up properly?
Yes, it is. Officer Otero was only doing, his regular inspections and came across it, not because of the debris or anything, but because of the fact that they were violating our ordinance, living in an RV. This is the rear of the property, so there's fence around it. I gotta say, I've been out there a couple of times. It's clean. We don't have any issues with him, having trash and debris out there.
Y'all are killing me here, you know that, right?
I know. Yeah, so it's just a matter of complying with our current ordinance.
And we're redoing that ordinance?
Yes, ma'am, I actually am in the process of amending that ordinance.
Aren't we rewriting the whole subdivision or the whole zoning?
I'm in the process of few of them. Chapter 29, which is our zoning ordinance, I'm in the process of, we're rewriting that entire ordinance. That's a huge one. We're also working on Chapter 22, which is our subdivision ordinance. This, though, unfortunately, is not part of either one of those. It's a separate one. So this one, I'm working more towards to amend it and bring that in front of you for approval.
So MH1 doesn't fall under the zoning portion of it?
MH1, yes, it does, under Chapter 29. But like I said, are you asking me?
Yeah, we're doing a rewrite on 29, right?
Mm-hmm, yes, sir.
And the manufactured housing doesn't fall under zoning?
It does fall under there to a certain extent.
Okay.
But this ordinance, number 25, is separate from Chapter 29.
Okay.
So instead of all of it being put together when ordinances were first created, there's, different sections, so.
And then you said the MH1, and then what's the other MH, like the?
2
MH2?
is the park.
Is that gonna be what, like, 'cause one of my questions is like over, I don't know what it's called now, but it's the Rocket. They have a bunch of mobile homes on one side, but they also have a section where they have a bunch of RVs.
Have an RV park.
You're talking about White Sands Community,
Yeah,
right?
that's what they call it
Yeah,
now.
it was Rocket when I first moved here
Yeah,
also.
that's what I know it as is Rocket, but,
yes,
I don't
that's,
see much of a difference between this and that.
So the difference is, White Sands Community is within our MH2, Manufactured Housing Park.
Parks.
So the parks allow manufactured homes, you rent your space, okay? And they also allow living in RVs. Now, MH1 is Manufactured Housing Subdivision, which are separate lots. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Like that. They're separate lots. So that's the difference between the two. Now, I know this, same situations have come in front of you in the past. If you approve this special permit, it is good for a year.
Is this
And
where
then-
they'll have a year extension?
And then they can come back and ask for another year extension.
Do you know what the
per current
timeline
ordinance.
is for him to purchase?
No, but we can ask.
We can ask, he's right here.
So these are the property owners, so somebody wants to come up and speak?
I'll speak.
If you'll just state your name, please, for the record.
My name is Steve Valdez. I'm Stephen's father. And we have lived out there since that subdivision was built back in '86. And at that time, we had terrible neighbors, dogs. I mean, so as soon as that property became available, we went and bought it. And able to get my son a place where he could be on his own to live. We bought the property as soon as it came available, and they moved the trailer out of it. And all he could afford was a RV trailer to put in there. The purpose is we're trying to find a cheap mobile home now, but as you know, housing has gone through the roof on anything. Doesn't matter if you're looking for an RV, you're looking for a mobile home or a house. So it's kind of put us in a dilemma right now. He works at night at Walmart stocking, and we bought the property for him. He's paying us back. So there's one bill on him right there already, and he paid off his RV. So on that extension, would we have to pay another fee to get another year's extension on it? Or there would be another fee on it?
What would that fee be?
The fee.
$48?
$250. Oh, I guess what it said. It was $250, wasn't it?
The fee for a special permit is $250.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and
That money that we paid already, when this all came about, where does that come in?
Can you?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm Teresa Valdez, Stephen's mom. And the money that we had already paid, why do we have to pay
No,
another?
would that money be onto the next extension, is what she's trying to ask? Or do we have to pay another $250 to?
It would, per current ordinance, you would have to pay an additional $250 to go through the whole process again.
Yeah.
It would be the same exact process. And to answer your question, that $250 pays for administrative costs, it pays for the publication in the paper, and it pays for the mailings. That's what it takes care of. Yes, sir.
okay.
And like I had explained to you over the phone, if it gets denied, it's non-refundable
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we have those
Right,
costs
right.
up front.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, you know me, but I'm in a quandary over this one, because I am genuinely, I'll be honest with you, I don't have an issue with this. I really don't. And I know what our ordinance says, and you're right, I'm a stickler about our ordinances, but I don't have an issue with this. I guess I'm trying to reason this out in my mind. If they were to find a mobile home that was, let's say, a 1975 that, passed our code but was still a 75 a year, not a 75-year-old, but a 1975 or something, mobile home. I'm just thinking, what is the difference? So you have it, hold on, I'm sorry. So you have it hooked up, they have it hooked up to septic. Everything is legally hooked up, right?
Yes, ma'am.
The only issue is this is a travel trailer and not a mobile home.
Correct, but it's not hooked up to septic, just to clear the record. It's hooked up to our city utilities, which is sewer, because they have all that
Okay,
available.
but regardless, it's hooked up correctly.
is-
There's nothing.
yes, and they have-
There's no extension cords run, because we've seen that in the past too, right?
No,
There's no
no,
extension cords
not-
running or anything. Everything is
We don't have
done
any gas to it. He's on propane.
on
his own.
propane.
Yeah, so there's no gas lines running to it.
Y'all are killing me. You're killing me here.
Well, my job is to
I know.
uphold the ordinance.
No, I understand that. I get it. So let me just ask this, and others may have questions too, but are we actively trying to save money for a mobile home? Yes, Okay, that's okay. I'm just asking. Okay, actively. So what does a year from now look like to you as far as that goes?
The way the market is right now, I've been looking, and don't get me wrong, I could buy a piece of junk. I'm not no remodeler by no means. A car I can take apart, but not a mobile home. But the way the market is now, like you said, it may have to be 72 mobile home, and that's going to be worse than what he's living in now.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Okay. Everybody knows the market's high right now on anything.
Okay.
Well, I've been out to the site, and I've actually talked to one of the neighbors, and she is not in, she's not interested in him leaving because he adds to the, I guess, to the neighborhood,
Right.
making sure it's protected. And their property is immaculate.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, and when they were talking about him saving for another, mobile home, I just thought, I said, in light of what we're experiencing in the city, where people are not able to get, affordable housing, I just thought maybe a timeline on that to see what it's looking like, maybe in I really, Walker area, like I said, you guys, when I went out there, it was immaculate.
It's
So,
kind of different from anywhere else out there, ain't it?
yes.
Yeah.
And so, and that's a brand-new home, catty corner there. So
Oh, yeah.
with her saying that she had no problem with that, and the fact that you do have a time frame that you're looking for on that. So I don't know if houses are going to go down,
I don't either.
but, or, the
Mobile
mobile homes.
Right.
But what I could see out there, it just looks like there's a truck parked in the driveway. That's exactly what it looks like to me. It doesn't look like you're violating anything, but I think the way things are going, especially when people are trying to do better, I just hope you can hurry up and get
Yeah,
something
it's
he
just-
can afford.
yeah, It's just gonna be one of those deals that we're gonna have to fall on a deal, It's not the fact that we're not looking, it's just the fact we're trying to fall on, be the first ones.
Does anybody else? Commissioner Reardon?
On your little map here with the different colors of the zoning,
And he's
he's in the gray, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's this
Yeah,
last.
this last
He's,
one.
he's that one.
So I can see what Commissioner Reardon's talking about.
Yeah. What is like the pinkish purple and the blue and the dark gray? What zonings are those?
Let me get back there so
got a
I
picture.
answer you correctly.
I know, it's all right.
'Cause he's that corner one in that light gray area, right?
Yes, he's the corner one. So then the darker gray is your manufactured housing park. The blue is single-family dwelling district.
Tell me something.
The-
Instead of doing a deal, could we just rezone
That's what I was
his to
wondering.
MH2 until the time that they get their mobile home and then rezone it back so that they don't have to continually come back? Normally it'd be called spot zoning, but since we have MH2 right across the street,
I could not. One, it would be costly to them. We're looking about $700. have to notify surrounding property owners. But the main thing is we have, the ordinances are strict about manufactured housing parks. And you can't have a manufactured housing park smaller than 2 acres.
Gotcha.
So there's no way I could even bring in front of you for rezoning. Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Let me offer a comment.
Yes.
You certainly, Mayor and Commission, you have the privilege, the due privilege to help people out when you see the need to do so, because the special use permit is a special permit. You need to understand that you normally, in any normal zoning category, could not put a travel trailer on a piece of property and live in it, period.
In
It's
MH2,
not allowed except by, in the park, as she described, or in this case, a special use permit. So why not, under the circumstances, I think these folks are trying real hard to help the young man get moving. I agree. Why not approve the permit as a special use permit, allow them to come back after a year and see how things are looking, see how the economy's doing, and they might actually find something between now and then, get it set up over there, and that issue's gone away.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think in our current climate, especially in Alamogordo, where we are having a housing shortage, when I spoke with you the other day, I was in my head thinking it was like backed up against their door, and it
Well,
was
it's like one down the street that we have noticed.
right.
Yeah,
and
this is a little
I'm not
different.
for that. I'm not for that. It's unsightly. It's a problem with neighbors and that kind of thing. But I just think in this case, how do you say no to that when?
We've already approved 2 of them.
Right.
To be in the backyard.
We did.
so-
We did one up on Thunder Road, and yeah.
It's my job to enforce the ordinances,
Yeah.
right? But as a planner, I totally agree with you. It's, the upkeep on the property is immaculate, along with the parents' lot. There's fence surrounding the entire area. If those gates were closed, you probably can't even see it. Property owners within the surrounding area, like Mayor Pro Tem McDonald said, they had nothing but good to say about all the Valdezes, and so that part of me says, I totally agree with you. But my job is to enforce ordinances, right? And that's what I told him. I said, I'm sorry, that's my job,
You did tell me that on the phone.
Yes, I try being quite honest with applicants.
I think that.
Thank you.
I do think that we do need to be consistent in what we do, but we also need to, take those special circumstances into consideration. So you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. I mean, really kudos to you for doing your
Thank
job,
you.
right? But,
Let me offer one other comment I think is important. You ask about the fee. I'll be honest, I think they can have that there for up to the 2 years, and I think if you extended it for the additional year, there would not be a need for an additional fee, because we're not going to have to send out notices to the property owners within 200 feet or publish anything.
so we can do
Yeah,
that up to 2 years?
I think you should do the year, look at it, and see how it looks next year. And if they want to extend it another year at that point and things justify that, you should be able to do that with a motion of the commission
I know.
and move forward, and everybody should be happy.
So if this passes, can we all make a note of that so that in a year from now, when we've all slept and had a million things going on, we can all remember, right?
There's not a circumstance that allows you to keep one of those for more than 2 years, period.
No, I get that.
And live in it.
I get
So
it.
you're being well within your rights to do that as the commission.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry, Commissioner Robinson.
I want to call for the vote. I'd like to make a motion for a special permit.
Okay. Yeah, I was reading this to see how we had this written up.
I think it's just for a
To
year.
grant a special permit. Okay, so I have a motion from Commissioner Robinson to grant a special permit. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we need to add in the second year
They'll have to come back in a year.
So do we want to say,
to waive the fee?
we want to say that?
I
We
would,
wanna
I
say-
would,
some
do-
language.
if your intent was to do it for the year to test the market and see how it goes, and then
And then
allow
to
them to come
revisit.
back in for consideration for a second year, and there wouldn't be a fee for that.
Okay,
That's part of my motion.
okay, all right. Did you get that, Rachel? Did she say yes? Yes, okay. Okay, all right, and then do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second from Commissioner Burnett. That's not a roll call vote, okay? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Thank you. Thank you for taking care of your property.
Appreciate you all.
That's kind of a big deal to me, I gotta tell you, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 19. Consider and act upon ordinance 1692 for first publication to amend sections of Chapter 2 of the Code of Ordinances concerning the city commission districts and mayor selection, term to be aligned with the city charter amendment made in 2012. Rachel.
Yes, Madam Mayor. And so there was an amendment to the city charter that was passed by the voters on the election of March 2012 to go from 7 commissioners with 7 districts. Was going to be amended to go to 6 commissioners with 6 districts and a mayor at large. While the election question on the ballot passed, and the city charter in the Code of Ordinances was changed, Chapter 2, referring to the districts and the mayor's selection, was not ever changed. So this is just to clean up that language.
Okay. Did everybody get that? Yes? Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions? How did you catch that?
Brilliant
Reading
mind.
the ordinances.
What's that? You're redoing the
Read-
ordinance?
No, reading the ordinances.
They're fascinating, aren't they? It was one of the first things I was told when I was elected the first time, memorize the ordinances. I'm like, nobody has time for all that. And I still don't, so, okay. But thank you for catching that. Do I have a motion on item 19?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner McDonald. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner Robinson. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Warren Robinson,
Aye.
Mark Tapley,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We're going to move on to item 20. Consider an act upon ordinance 1690, am I saying that right? Yeah, 1693 for first publication to add Chapter 11, Article 6, Section 330 concerning obstructing, impeding, moving, or camping in public right-of-ways. Ashley Smith has some information for us.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Commissioners. So we are bringing this ordinance in response to a few incidences where we've had of people camping in public right-of-ways. Obviously, this is an issue for the city because it is a safety issue for our citizens and for people traveling on our streets. What this ordinance would do is it would make it unlawful for any person to obstruct or impede the movement of any persons passing along any street, sidewalk, median, crosswalk, or any other public way, including a setback area. Additionally, it would make it unlawful for any person to camp upon any part of a public right-of-way, including a setback area. And will stand for questions.
Any questions? Not going to get an argument from me. Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve item 20?
Got a question on that. Have we checked with other communities what they're doing?
So actually, I got this from another community. Actually, this is almost identical to what Albuquerque has, because they've been having a lot of the same issues.
Basically to deal with people setting up tents on sidewalks.
Correct. We've had some instances of them being in some of the public right-of-ways, where maybe there wasn't a sidewalk, but it is a public right-of-way, and it would be in a line of sight for
So-
traffic.
So if they're just say sleeping on the sidewalk versus setting up a tent, then,
It
'cause
would not-
they have every right to use that sidewalk as I do or you do or anyone in this room does.
So we do have a definition of camping.
Uh-huh.
And camping is setting up of any tent, shack, or other permanent or temporary structure or shelter, or preparing a sleeping bag or other bedding material for use in a public right-of-way. So, I mean, if someone's just, I guess, just sleeping there, but if you're actually making a bed,
Or a sleeping bag.
yeah, that would classify as
I
camping.
mean, I see a violation of this almost every morning driving down White Sands Boulevard at 5:30 in the morning. There's multiple areas that people sleep on the sidewalk or used to be park benches, but we took those out too. So I just want to make sure we're not violating have the ACLU or one of them people come in and sue us over this.
This is one that they haven't been touching.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm sure you guys have heard that there was an issue concerning getting rid of some of the encampments up in Albuquerque. I think honestly, I was out for 2 weeks. I haven't looked to see where the courts are at with that. But I know that was a pending litigation, but there hasn't been any litigation concerning this specifically. With the camping, it's just basically you can't take away people's property, was what's going on in Albuquerque right now.
Chief, did you have something?
Yeah, just to add to your point about, do I need to go to Mike?
Yeah, you probably should.
Come on up.
Identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes,
sir. Good evening again, David Kunihiro, Police Chief, Alamogordo Police Department. To your point about the camping, so the ordinance would restrict the camping, but you can never block the sidewalks for people's right-of-way. Like protesting and things of that nature, the sidewalk is for people's right-of-way to go back and forth. So it would be unlawful at some point if you ever restricted someone else's right to walk down the sidewalk, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, they have the right to use the sidewalk as well, like say they, like the lady that used to stand at the corner of 9th and White Sands Boulevard. She was in a public right of way and we really didn't have any authority to remove her because she was just standing there.
Sure, so if she is hypothetically someone standing on
Or
the
sitting,
sidewalk
most times she was sitting.
and, I'll just say flying a sign, it becomes illegal once they step into the roadway. But flying a sign, someone wants to walk by and they allow them to walk by and they're not blocking,
Yes.
perfectly legal.
But if they're laying on the sidewalk and you have to walk over them, then
Correct. That
they're
would-
impeding their,
Or if they're laying to where you can pass them, is it still legal? So,
I don't think it would fall under the definition of camping for this
Camping.
ordinance,
Okay.
but we're probably going to be called on it.
Okay.
I know I would call you and tell you to go get them off our sidewalks, so.
Like I say, every morning on White Sands, there's 3 or 4 or 5 of them. You see them. Sometimes they're passed out. Sometimes they're just sleeping there. I mean, it's
And I
most of
think
the time.
the-
By the time the daylight comes up, they're gone.
Yes, sir, and I feel the intent is just to keep them out of the public right-of-way, all of that. It's not for sleeping, that's not the normal use, right? The sidewalks are built for people to use to walk back and forth, not be
Right.
very stationary and setting up shop there. Just my 2 cents.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, does anybody else have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve item 20?
Move to approve motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Robinson. Do I have a second?
Second.
A second from Commissioner Paul. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Warren Robinson,
Aye.
Mark Tapley,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Roden,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We're going to move on to item 21. Consider and act upon ordinance 1694 for first publication to amend Chapter 19, Article 4, Section 10 concerning park closure hours, and Ashley Smith has some information for us.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, you may recall that I had mentioned that I was going to be bringing this ordinance at our last meeting. Additionally, I had emailed you guys all this previously. Essentially, we are amending our current park closures hour. We're adding a section B to it. And that section says, "No person under the age of 18 years of age, unaccompanied by an adult, shall congregate or be in any park between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. while school is in session as outlined by the Alamogordo Public Schools calendar. Juveniles, minors under the age of 18 shall be issued a criminal trespass under New Mexico statutes 30-14-1, which is the state's criminal trespass code. Juveniles shall be referred to the juvenile probation office. This section shall not apply to minors with emancipation documentation." And so we're just adding that section. Obviously, this is in response to some of the issues we've had recently concerning our parks and juveniles in the parks during school hours. And I am open for any questions.
How does this pertain to the kids that are homeschooled?
So it would still apply to, it would be applied universally. So whether you are homeschooled or in public school, it's all going to be applied the same. We can't really discriminate, obviously, between, so we're just making it the same for everyone. We've racked our brains a little bit to trying to figure out the best solution when it comes to this kind of stuff, and this is what we came up with. Obviously, I'm open to if there's any language you guys want to add or whatever. But
And it's only if they're unsupervised.
Right,
Yeah.
and I
I mean, if
understand
there's
that
an adult
there's just
there-
a lot of kids now that are just homeschooled and that are under the age of 18 that are old enough to be at Kids Kingdom, for instance, during these hours. I mean, I'm guessing the court has some discretion as well as far as what's the outcome of it.
And so, and that's where, so it says, juvenile shall be referred to the juvenile probation office, so, or as I call them, JPO. JPO has a lot of discretion on whether they actually even take the case to the courts, too. We would set, we issue the citation and we refer them to the juvenile probation office. And then the juvenile probation office can determine, and they can have, like you said, they have discretion too on how they want to handle the situation. And, I don't know how JPO would handle it, but, if someone's like a constant issue of them constantly being in the parks or something like that, they would probably handle that differently than versus someone being there the one time.
Yeah, this was a tough one because you're right, there are a lot of homeschoolers. I think in my mind, I'd just say, well, it's unfortunate that kids that are choosing to, and I will give you an example of something that happened just the other day. That, as a matter of fact, the pastor that was here tonight at his church, there was a young man, he was 18 years old, and he was hanging out in their property on their church. And so pastor didn't know what to do, and so he went and got him some McDonald's. Well, when he came back, there were a couple of younger kids there, and two of those kids were from Chaparral, and it was the middle of the day, and they said they just didn't feel like going to school that day. And so he called me, obviously because of the nonprofit I run, he called me and he said, "What do I do?" And I said, "Well, I don't think it's ever appropriate for an 18-year-old kid to be hanging out with," one of them was a female, 13-year-old female. And so I said, "I think that's inappropriate and you probably need to call the police." But that's the kind of thing that's happening. Now, I understand that those aren't homeschoolers, but I think my point is, those kids that are doing that kind of thing are just making it hard on everybody else, but how do you distinguish that?
No, I totally, I understand the premise of it.
No,
all.
I know,
It's not that,
I
I
just-
just trying to figure out, are we
Right.
just causing more paperwork for people unnecessarily?
Right.
That's, I mean,
But if we don't do something.
no, and
then-
I totally agree. I think something does need to be done.
We need
There
to
are
do
those kids
Yeah.
that are running around.
Can we, basically this stems about right down here, Oregon and Washington Park, mainly by the high school. We don't have too much of an issue. Can we limit this just to that area to see how it works? I just don't want to see, some child that's at Kids Kingdom that's homeschooled getting referred to JPO when they're good kids. We're going to punish everybody because of the actions of a few. You see that in the schools a lot. My daughter's in school over here, and they've got one or two kids that are acting up, so they punish the entire class rather than deal with the one or two that are causing the problems. But could we limit it to just that area, that park over there? Because it's Washington Park, and then this section of Oregon right here, from here to First Street.
Yeah, but what if it's Kid Zone? I don't know what's going on over there, and
There's a lot of kids, like my daughter likes to go over there and play, and, during the day, there are some kids that are there and their parents aren't with them, or their parents will be sitting over in the car or in the parking lot, not even paying attention to what their kids are doing. So are they technically unsupervised? Or, their parents there, but
I
they're
think if their
sitting,
parents are there, then they're not unsupervised. I think that's the point. The point is that,
they're not paying attention to what their kids doing. They're over there on their phone, sitting in their car or in the parking lot.
but they
half a
know where
mile
their
away.
kids are.
Yeah,
They know where their kids are, though.
So,
And I think this is really about kids that should be in school, about parents who assume that their kids are in school, and then their kids are not in school. And I think that's how do you control that? Yes, do you have? David Kinihiro, Police Chief of the City of Alamogordo, New Mexico. I'm Susan Mayer.
Good evening again.
I'm Susan Mayer Payne. How you doing? I am never going to let you forget that either. Sorry.
So,
Go ahead.
again, just my 2 cents to your point, Commissioner, right, and about isolating it to maybe that specific park. I think then we potentially just move the problem and shift it to another part.
Right.
One suggestion that I thought about this evening is we could put some language in there that discusses maybe a warning, so then it gives officers the discretion to give the warning or take it one step further and refer to JPO. And we're really talking probably about 15 to 20 students or who are really going to be enforcing this. I think the majority of school-age children under the age of 18 are probably going to be in school, probably where they need to be. So I don't think we're affecting a large amount of students per se. But I would not recommend doing it at one specific part, because we'll push the problem around, in my opinion. And secondly, I'd add just a little bit of language to give us some discretion, because this does say, basically, we don't have discretion. If we find them in the park, they shall be referred to the juvenile probation office. So we could probably add some language if you guys wanted us to go that route.
So would you, if we were giving them a warning, would we contact their parents?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I think for
Because
me,
it's a
that's,
warning for a delinquent act, right?
Right.
So the delinquent act or the crime, a delinquent act, what a juvenile would commit
Right.
is the trespassing. So they're going to be given a warning. They'll be, their parents, it'll be documented, and then their parent or guardian would be also told. So we're hoping they learn from the warning and they
Yeah.
don't do it again.
and I think that that's the key. I think, obviously my kids are grown now, but when my kids were younger, I would want to know if they were not in school and they should have been. And
No,
a lot of
I get
parents
that.
don't know that, and I think that this is a good way for the city of Alamogordo to work with those parents. You know what I mean? Because they may not know. We've got single moms, we've got, two, both parents that are working, and they may just assume their kids are in school. And clearly the school, and through no fault of their own, I'm not going to blame the schools, but I am going to say, like the incident the other day where those kids just said, well, I just don't feel like going to school, and they just walked out of school. And we're hanging out with this, it terrified me that this girl was hanging out with this 18-year-old kid, but I'm thinking, does her parents know? Do they care? Maybe they do, you know, because I think that that's the assumption also sometimes is that, oh, these parents just don't care. And that's not necessarily true. They just may not know. So I think this is a great way to work with the parents and you know, as far as homeschoolers, they'll get used to it. I've talked to a lot of homeschool families and none of them seem to have had a problem with it that I've talked to. Not that I talked to all of them, but the ones that I've talked to don't seem to have an issue with it, so.
And just one more, I would sort of mirror the last sentence of subsection A, the section shall not apply to those who, without delay. I would add that section, that language to B, my suggestion, but take away the artificial lighting because this will be during the day. Most likely, I guess, does it ever get dark at 4? I don't think so. Just so it also puts that ability if the 15-year-old is walking through the park to another place, they're using the paths, it would not be, that movement wouldn't be restricted. Just as another suggestion.
Can't see it, but I'll take your
How do
word
we
for it.
cite criminal trespass on public property? I mean,
So-
everybody has the right to use that park. And I understand we're setting time limits and age limits, but I just, you know, it's kind of like the January 6th. How did they trespass on public property? You know what I mean? That was always my question with that, and it's the same thing.
I think the city owns the property and they have the right to.
But the city is we the people.
I agree. We have a
We
park.
just did it for the ditches though, which is the same thing.
There's
It's
a
the same thing.
safety issue there, but I just, you know, like I said, guys, we're going back to, we have, like you stated, 15 to 20 kids that are creating the problem. So we are punishing everybody for the 15 to 20 kids that are creating the problem. You know, and that's kind of where I have the issue. You know, I just don't want to see good kids that are just out having fun or playing or whatever getting referred to JPO when they were just out playing. You know, if they're over there fighting or with a gun or something along those lines, I understand the intent.
Sure, I totally understand what you're saying. So we either, A, right now we have zero teeth to do anything, or we figure out maybe an appropriate way that you guys would like to write this, and we do it to where there's some discretion in there, if you would like to see that, to where not everyone is referred for criminal trespass, but more so warned, and then, you know, the repeat violators then are punished accordingly.
And I will say this.
And
that
JPO
we-
was, by the way, we had a stakeholders meeting, and JPO was a part of
Right.
that, and they were in support of
They were.
this type of
And we have
ordinance as
been
well.
talking about this now for several months. It has been on social media. Everybody has known about it. I know Mr. Edwards has written about it. I haven't received any opposition, really. I've had a couple of inquiries about how we're going to handle, and it was mostly the homeschool, or if kids get out early. That was another thing, is some, like the seniors get out early. And I just said, well, they can't be in the park until after 4. And, you know, to me, it's just one of those things. It's like, well, if this is a rule, everybody's going to follow it. It may take some getting used to, but like you said, if we give them a warning or something. But I do think that a lot of the citizenry already know that this is in the works, and so I don't think it's going to come as a surprise to people.
Can we have language to that motion?
So
we're-
I've
Please.
actually just been writing it out, so.
Please.
I know I can't with the computers and everything, so I'm just going to read it, the whole thing again, or at least section B, with the proposed changes, if that works for you guys. So it would read, "No person under the age of 18 years of age, unaccompanied by an adult, shall congregate or be in any park between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. while school is in session as outlined by the Alamogordo Public Schools calendars. For the first offense, a juvenile shall be issued a warning. Upon a subsequent offense, the juvenile shall be issued a criminal trespass under New Mexico statutes annotated section 30-14-1 and shall be referred to the juvenile probation office or JPO. This section shall not apply to minors with emancipation documentation. This section shall not apply to those who, without delay, are traveling upon those established walks, paths, and parkways.
4 o'clock going to actually address the issue as well. That shooting that was over there was right around that time as well, wasn't it? And it wasn't actually in the park, it was
They're just going
on,
off of the school hours.
are we?
It was during hours, in my understanding.
It was at like 3, wasn't it? It was 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was actually at the park?
Yeah, it was at the pavilion in the park, so it was in our park, and it was, 3:30-ish.
I mean, after school, there's nothing, is what it is.
I move to approve the city attorney's language.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I have a motion from Commissioner Robinson. I have a second from Commissioner Paul. The computer's doing something. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Sorry, Mayor, can you please tell me what who seconded?
I did.
Commissioner Paul, I'm sorry.
you. Okay, Warren Robinson,
Aye.
Mark Tapley,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Rudin,
I'm going to vote no.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 6-1. Item 22. Consider and act upon ordinance 1695 for first publication, a map amendment to change the current zoning of a property located at 2405 Holly from MH1 to R4. And Stella Rail has some information on that.
Yes, ma'am. I'll give Rachel some time. There we go. Yes, ma'am, this is case Z-2023-0008A. The property owner, as you stated, is requesting a map amendment to change the zoning of the property located at 2405 Holly Avenue from MH1 Manufactured Housing Subdivision District to R4 Multifamily Dwelling District in order to place some apartments there. What he's looking at is 2 separate sets of duplex, so four apartments total. So the property owner actually is John C. Pacheco. He's out of Alvin, Texas. He's not able to be here this evening, but Mr. Pacheco has multiple properties within Alamogordo rental properties, and he's just trying to help with the shortage on housing. So this application was filed and all fees were paid. The legal ad was placed in the Alamogordo Daily News. 8 letters were mailed by certified return receipt mail to all property owners of record within 200 feet from the property excluding public right-of-way. As of today, there have been 0 letters returned undeliverable, and I have not received any letters of or phone calls of opposition. Just want to show you a little bit. If this would have come to me and there wasn't so much mixed use, I would have probably stopped and said no, because then I'm creating spot zoning. But this property in question actually was rezoned from R1 to MH, what did I say, 1? Anyway, back in 2002. So when Mr. Pacheco approached me and said, you know, clearing the land, I want to put these 2 sets of duplexes out there, and I've already met with the utilities department. We've discussed all that. I'm starting to put in, you know, proper utility hookups, blah, blah, blah. I said, wait a minute, first we got to rezone the property because you're not in the proper zone for apartments. So anyway, but that whole area there, this area was annexed in 1959. And as you all are aware, everything comes in R1 Single Family Dwelling District. Since then, and I don't have the whole picture for you, but surrounding this property, I have light industrial, I have manufactured housing park, I have commercial, I have residential estates, which is the blue, if you all remember. That was created for the property owners to be able to have horses out there. I have R4, so it's just a big mixture of different zoning types. So with that being said, and taking into consideration our shortage on housing within the city of Alamogordo, staff is recommending approval of this rezoning. So I am open for questions.
You may have said, but where's Holly? Where's that at?
Holly is, you know where they're building the new church? It's right off of Highway 54 South.
Oh,
The new
Yeah.
Joy Center.
over by the Joy Center?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually, the Joy Center would be more like over here at the bottom of the corner on the left-hand side. And,
Yeah.
yeah, that's within an R1 single-family
And
dwelling
he
district.
wants to build duplexes out there.
And he's already, he has submitted plans to me, but I said before I start reviewing those, this has to get approved first.
The brown there on the right-hand side, what zoning is
That's
that?
C3,
Three. And then
business
The
district.
blue is the planned
the
unit?
residential estates.
Okay, and then the green is,
That's R4.
okay. And then the gray is, and then what's the light blue, or,
The light blue is R1, single-family dwelling. And then, like I said, you know, not showing the whole picture, I've got more manufactured housing subdivision at the end of Holly, and I've got light industrial. I have light industrial with conditions. There's a lot out there. And the only, let's see, 8 letters went out. I know that Mr. Pacheco has spoken to the property owners that actually have manufactured homes on the 2 lots adjacent to him. They didn't have any issues with him bringing apartments to that area. And all the surrounding parcels there have never been developed since it was annexed in 1959.
does he have intent of buying the rest of those and building, or is this?
Not that he has said, no. Oh, you mean like where the homes are?
Yeah, like the other lots that are plotted, does he have any intent of buying those?
He has not said that he has any intention. If this works out, he may, but he hasn't actually said that.
Really, anything out there that's built new is going to be
Is gonna be-
an improvement to that area. I will tell you as a reminder, and I see this frequently in cities, at this point, you're really only asking about the zoning issue. That's the only thing we deal with. When and if he decides that he wants to build, then there's probably going to be some issues with regard to the roadway. There's probably going to be required some paving out there and some fire hydrants and other things put in, just like any other development. But those are things that we'll have to deal with at the staff level whenever that happens. But the main question now is, would you allow that to be rezoned for that classification? And so that's really kind of the simple part of it. But if you drove out by there, there's not much out there. And I said anything built new is going to be an improvement to
Yeah,
that
I think
area.
it's interesting that he wants to do that.
And Mr. Holden's correct about him having to meet all the other requirements when it comes time for construction. He will have to comply with our technical standards and everything else that comes along with it.
That other property?
Go ahead, no, you're good, go.
That other property that's right next door, that 2407, is that a mobile home that's out there as well?
Yes.
And then the one just to the south of that, isn't that a site-built home?
I'm trying to look
No,
on
I
Google
think
Maps,
they're
but
both
nothing's
double
coming up,
wides.
so.
Are they both double?
I think they're both double wides.
Because that other one then would be a double wide on R1. Because there's only two of them that are MH1 right there. There's 05 and 07.
Rachel, can you bring the slideshow back up, please?
If I'm reading
Let
that
me
right.
see. Let me look. So his property is 2405.
Which is the
And
yellow
then
dot,
there's
correct?
2407 right next to him. I know that's a double wide.
And then 2409 has a property on it too.
Yeah, and it may be a site built. When I was out there, I thought it was, do you remember, Sean, if it was a double wide?
I honestly think there was a site.
Okay, it might be. And if they came in for permits, of course, it would be allowed to be built there as a site built, and we would have said no to manufactured housing, but.
So,
Just vaguely remember working on one of them homes.
So
a
it's
long
gonna
time
be-
ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just,
I can't remember which one of those it was, but.
and is there utilities out there already or no?
there is utilities, and he's met with our utilities director, with Dave Nunley. They've met out there, and he has consulted with him on, where to hook up, tie in and all that stuff. So he's on top of everything. He's doing everything correctly. The only problem was he wasn't in the right zone to do
Okay,
what he's
so do we-
proposing.
Do we want to make a motion to approve item 22? Does somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to approve item 22.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Paul. Do I have a second? A second from Commissioner Robinson. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Thank you.
Warren Robinson,
Aye.
Mark Tapley,
Aye.
Nick Paul,
Aye.
Stephen Burnett,
Aye.
Josh Reardon,
Aye.
Sharon McDonald,
Aye.
Susan Payne.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. I'm going to go ahead and table item 23 because I have no computer and I know we have a lot of applications and I can't see any of them. So if that's all right with everybody, I'll table that until the next meeting. Okay, and with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem McDonald, a tie for a motion from Commissioner Reardon. All those in favor, aye? Aye. All those opposed? And we are adjourned.
You got it.
Thank you.